Okay, hey guys, we're going to do the bean lab today. So I'm going to go through the instructions, so you need to be paying careful attention so you know exactly what to do when we get started. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is you and your partner, which is your partner that you're sitting next to, you're going to write your names at the top of this paper. You're going to be turning in one sheet of paper with your partner and your name on it, okay? Now, yesterday we talked about estimating population. So today we are going to be having brown beans as well as white beans in a bag. And we're going to be able to find the total population in the entire bag of beans based on our activity today. So, here it goes. It says, the idea behind capture recapture is capture and tag some birds in a forest, allowing each of them to go free after being tagged. Recapture a set of birds from the forest and count how many from that set are tagged. Use the ratio of tagged birds in your set to generate a proportion. Use the proportion to estimate the total population of birds in the forest. So obviously, we are not going to use actual birds. Instead, we are going to be using beans, okay? This is called, it says, from the cup, capture a handful of beans. And when we do this, we're actually going to be capturing the brown beans, okay? So beside number 1, you might want to put brown beans. So you are going to get a little handful of brown beans. And I'll be walking around the classroom, and you can grab a handful, okay? You're going to count these brown beans, and these are going to be your marked beans. We're not going to actually mark with a pen. We're just going to use a brown one so we can tell the difference, okay? So it says count the number of beans that you've captured, mark each of them with a marker, which we're not doing. How many beans did you mark? So how many brown beans do you have? So I'm going to count them. So I would count and I'd say, okay, I have 22 brown beans. So I'm going to write the number 22 beside number 1. That's very important. You have to keep track of how many you have, how many brown beans, okay? When you get that, you're going to put the brown beans in your sack, and your sack already has white beans inside, okay? So your sack has white beans inside. So I'm going to put my white beans. So your sack has white beans, and now it has brown beans as well. So you want to shake it up. So you're going to close it, and you're going to shake them up. So that way your brown beans and your white beans get all mixed up. Okay? Whoa. Make sure there's no holes. Alright? It says from the cup, recapture a new handful of beans. So you're not going to look, and you're going to capture. Now you don't want to capture a huge handful, because that's going to be a lot of counting. So what you want to do is keep it small. Okay? So I capture a handful. I'm going to actually drop. I'm going to capture some more. So, okay, here's my handful. So I'm going to lay them out on my desk, and I'm going to count. Now, number 3 says, how many beans are in your handful? So you're going to count how many beans all together. So I would count, there's probably about, let's say, 50 beans in my handful, and I only have 2 brown beans. So I'm going to say 2, 50, 2, and then on number 4, I'm going to say 2 out of 50. Okay? And we are going to do that 6 more times and fill in the table. So I put all my beans back into my sack, shake it up, keep the beans in the sack. They should not be flying around the room. Keep them in the sack, shake it up, and we're going to do the same thing. You're going to grab a handful. Okay, I'm going to count the total number of beans, count the marked beans, that goes in the first column, total beans goes in the second column, the ratio of marked to total. So here I only have 1 marked, and I have about 40 total, so 1 to 40 would be my ratio. For now, you're leaving the gray box blank, okay? When you get done, so you're going to do 7 altogether, so you and your partner are just going to switch off. You're going to flip it over. On the next page, it says, remember the goals of these trials to determine the what? It's to determine the bean population. Okay? So, here's our proportion. Marked beans in your handful over the total beans in your handful. That's when you reach it and grab. Equals the total marked beans in the cup over the total number of beans in the cup. We don't know the total number of beans. So that's what we're trying to find. Okay, so it says use the data from the first trial. So you're going to go over to your first trial. So your number 1, your first trial, you're going to use that data. So the number of marked beans, so I had 1 out of 40 in my handful, equals the total number of marked beans in your cup you found for number 1 up here. And I had, what, 11? Okay? So that would be my number that goes here. Then you would solve with the fish for x. Okay? Then you are going to write what you get inside this gray column. And that's what number 5 tells you to do. Label the gray column with the estimated total. So you're going to label that and you're going to write them. So you're going to be doing 6 proportions all together. And I need to see all 6 proportions. So that means you can do them here in this big blank space on number 7, or you can write them beside here and then tell me the answer. Okay, but I need to see all of these. All right? Then you're going to answer number 9, 10, and 11. You're going to answer number 12, and then number 13, you're going to continue your trials. And this will probably be day 2. So you're going to put trial 7 to however many we're going to do, and you're going to complete that many trials the whole time. Solving the proportion, telling me how many estimated beans you think there are. Okay? Then you're going to answer a couple of questions, and at the very end, we're going to count the total number of beans. So you're going to be able to see how many there are actually in your bag. Okay? Good luck. Have fun.